For years, debate has continued inside the Catholic world about the resignation of Pope Benedict XVI and the legitimacy of Pope Francis. Supporters of this theory believe the controversy never truly ended because of one important document, Benedict's resignation declaration from February 11, 2013. According to this argument, the entire issue depends on the exact wording Benedict used when he announced his resignation. Before becoming Pope, Cardinal Joseph Ratzinger was elected to the papacy in 2005 and became Pope Benedict XVI. His supporters believe that during his papacy he faced pressure, opposition, and resistance from powerful groups inside the church. Then came a shocking announcement in 2013. Benedict read a document known as the Declaratio, where he announced he would step down. Most Catholics understood this as a resignation from the papacy. Soon after, a conclave elected Pope Francis as the new pope. But critics of that process argue something important was missing. They focus heavily on church law, especially the Code of Canon Law. According to their interpretation, a pope must clearly and properly resign the papal office itself for the resignation to be valid. The controversy comes from Benedict's specific wording. In the Declaratio, Benedict said he renounced the ministry of the Bishop of Rome. Critics argue he did not directly renounce the office of the papacy itself. To them, that difference matters a lot. They claim the papacy is more than simply being the Bishop of Rome. They point to Canon Law, especially Canon 331 and Canon 332, which describe the responsibilities and authority connected to the papal office. According to this interpretation, Benedict stepped away from active ministry, but never fully gave up the office of pope. Because of that, they believe the papal throne was never truly vacant. And if there was no vacancy, they argue the 2013 conclave that elected Pope Francis would have been invalid from start. This theory has become one of the biggest arguments used by people who question Francis' legitimacy. Supporters of the theory also point to Benedict's unusual actions after resigning. He continued wearing white clothing. He kept the title Pope Emeritus. He remained inside the Vatican. For critics, these details added more confusion and fueled speculation that Benedict intentionally left signals behind. Some even believe Benedict understood exactly what he was doing. They argue he may have resigned active duties while spiritually or legally remaining pope. Because of this, they describe Francis as an invalid pope or even a usurper. The theory does not stop there. Some critics now extend the same argument to later church leadership. They claim that bishops and cardinals appointed during Francis' papacy could also be affected if Francis himself was never validly elected. That would create a much larger crisis involving authority inside the modern church. Many Catholics strongly reject these claims. The Vatican officially recognized Pope Francis as the legitimate successor to Benedict. Most bishops, priests, and Catholics around the world accepted the resignation as valid. Still, the debate continues online and among certain Catholic groups. For many people involved in the discussion, the issue is not simply about church politics. They believe it is connected to a deeper spiritual crisis inside Catholicism, including fears about confusion, division, and the future of the church itself. Some even connect these events to biblical warnings about deception and the end times. They point to passages from Scripture and sections of the Catechism that discuss trials the church may face before the end. At the center of all this is one major belief, that truth matters, even when it is uncomfortable. Supporters of the theory argue that once people examine the documents closely, they cannot ignore the questions anymore. Others believe the controversy comes from misunderstanding church law and reading too deeply into Benedict's words and actions. But no matter which side someone takes, the debate over Benedict's resignation remains one of the most controversial and emotional topics in the modern Catholic Church.